Today we're going to take a look at the angle guide and tool rest for the Kalamazoo 1SM. This is called the KallyRest. I'll put a link down below where you can get the KallyRest if you want one yourself. So the idea here is this is a rest for a blade that you can use to have a consistent angle against the belt, so you can get more consistent, nice, even looking bevels on your blade and not have to rely upon your instincts or upon some sort of other reference for the angle. You can read the angle right here, which is relatively accurate. So to change this angle rest, we unlock the lock, and then we can make the angle larger or smaller with this screw adjust. And I can tell you this screw adjust, I've used an angle cube on this. You can adjust this to tenths of a degree if you really want to have that kind of accuracy. Let me show you the other side of this thing, because it is interesting. So the KallyRest clamps onto the mast, and it has this piece here, which attaches to the rest of the device. The angle guide itself is removable. Well, first of all, it can slide in and out so that you can get the proper distance to your belt to accommodate belts like the Scotch-Brite belts, which are very thick, or leather, or whatever. It's also completely removable, which is really nice because once it's removed, you can work against the platen without the angle guide being in the way. So the platen is right here, from here to here, in fact. There are a bunch of adjustments in this block which allow you to twist this and angle it in several directions and move it in and out. This is really important because the mast is never straight when it comes from the factory. So in order to get the platen completely perpendicular to the belt in all three dimensions, you really need a variety of adjustments, which this has, and this is rather perpendicular to the belt. It's not absolutely perfect, but it's pretty darn good. Let me put this angle guide back on, and I'll show you just a little mock demonstration real quickly of how you use it. So let's get this into position. Pardon my camera work here. I don't have a crew or anything cool like that. Okay, so this should be kind of close to what I see as I do it. So I'm going to move this in until it is almost touching the belt. I usually do this with it running, and I can hear it go dit, 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 dit as it touches, and then back it off just a hair. I also almost always painter's tape the face of this, one, to protect it, and two, to keep all the metal dust from accumulating on it, which then scratches the blade as you move the blade across this, because you're keeping pressure on the blade into the rest, and if there's metal on it, it's definitely going to scratch the surface of the blade. So what we do here is we drop this down into the gap until it touches, and then pull across, angling upward to keep the curve of the blade. Let me show you what that's supposed to look like, or what the idea is here. See how the blade is now perpendicular to the belt here? It's still perpendicular, 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 until we get to the curve. If I do this, it's no longer perpendicular here. I need to start rotating this. As I pull through, continue rotating to keep it perpendicular at all times. So there, the tip is perpendicular to the direction of travel of the belt, which is exactly what you want in order to sharpen correctly. So as I come through here, I'm going to do the same thing, boom, 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 boom. And as I'm looking over it, I can see the contact point. The camera can't see it, but I can see it myself. And I end up here, which is that angle. So perpendicular to the belt in this direction. Okay, what else about the KallyRest? Oh, important point here that Mark, the inventor, tried to tell me verbally, and I had to kind of figure it out. So because this belt moves downward, and because we're in this gap here, gosh, I wish I could make this so you could see the gap. But anyway, you'll understand. It wants to pull the blade into the gap and past this thing into the machine, which obviously you don't want. So the solution is kind of much simpler than you would think. So you hold the blade with the handle, and you give it some upward pressure so that it's not going to touch the belt at all. You're not getting a lot of overpressure, just enough to keep it off the belt. Then to make it touch the belt, you push down on the spine until bzzz, it starts touching the belt. And then you just keep this pressure in place as you slide the knife across. At some point, you'll begin going into the curve, and you may have to adjust the pressure of your thumb on the spine, up or down. But this is nice because the default is for it to pull out of the gap and not to jump into the gap. And you're regulating it very carefully with your thumb. So not only are you keeping it from being sucked into the gap, you're actually precisely controlling the amount that the edge touches the belt. I'm gonna pop on my safety glasses and just turn it on for just a second so you can hear the difference in a lot of contact versus a little contact. So pushing. Barely contacting, not contacting at all, barely contacting, really contacting, and I can regulate it anywhere in between. Full on, just a little, and nothing. I hope you could hear my voice over this. This machine's actually kind of quiet, but I bet this is going to end up being kind of loud on video. All right, well, that's a good introduction to the KallyRest. I hope that was interesting. I'll see you guys next time.